Hey everybody, welcome back to the Broken Spoon. Today we are making one or two of my favorite things. Everything's my favorite, isn't it? But when I find a good recipe, which isn't necessarily a recipe, I stick with it. Today we are making meatballs and meatloaf. It's the same recipe, that's why I say one or two of my favorite things. I found a great mix of ingredients that tastes good either way. So we've got already, and these are not exact measurements. I'm using 5 pounds of pork, freshly ground pork from a pork shoulder, 1 pound of Italian sausage, and 3 pounds of ground beef. Now, ground pork is basically Italian sausage without the seasoning. So we're going to season this up with the ingredients you saw in the opening. In the mortar and pestle here, I've got fennel seed and anise, and I've given that a good brown. And then I'll put about half of this in each one, and I may add more later. I've already added some thyme and oregano, some Italian herb spices. We've got some salt and pepper in there. This is rosemary and salt. We're flavoring basically 8 to 9 pounds of meat. So this is marjoram, and I always put a little red pepper, cayenne. Not much. I don't like my meatloaf spicy, but it adds a little flavor, and all kinds of flavor is good. I've also got some Italian breadcrumbs here. The Italian style has spices mixed in with it, so I'm going to put roughly a cup in each bowl here. I've got 2 bowls because I've got a lot of meat. Giggity. Okay, now what I've got here is a mixture of green pepper, onion, and garlic, just ground to bits. Because you don't want big pieces in like a meatball because it'll fall apart. So I've got this ground pretty fine. I'm gonna spread this mixture about half and half here. There might be a couple bits and pieces in there. They may go in the meatloafs. I make a lot of this at a single time, and then I make a couple meatloafs and freeze it. And the meatballs, either you can leave it bulk or you can cook them now and then freeze the leftovers. So let's give this a mix. There's moisture obviously in the onion and green peppers. And you know what both of these need are eggs. I'm putting 2 eggs in each bowl. Each bowl will have approximately 4.5 pounds of meat. And also toss in a little bit of ketchup. good. So get all this stuff incorporated. Looks like a mess, but that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to hit the ground beef first. I've got 3 pounds here, so I'm going to do a 1.5 pounds per bowl. Italian sausage, the same, split it up 50-50. Try to make it as consistent flavor as possible. And the ground pork. And some fresh cheese, Asiago and Parmigiano. Okay, I'm gonna glove up for this bit, and let's give it a gentle mix here until we start getting stuff mixed together. Okay, so then check the consistency. It seems a little soft to me, a little wet. So what I'll do is I'll add more breadcrumbs here and thicken it up a bit. Okay, that's close right there. I think I might add a little bit more breadcrumbs. But now, how do you taste this to see if the flavor's right? Because we've got 9 pounds of meat, and if it's wrong, you ruin 9 whole pounds. So what you do is you take this and put it in a frying pan and test it. So make sure it's done all the way through. Come on. Okay, looks done. So let's give it a taste. It's pretty good as is. To me, it needs a little more salt. Some people don't like a lot of salt, so this might be all right. It's got a nice flavor to it. But if this is what you do, you taste this, and if you think it needs another ingredient, add something. Obviously, you can't take any away if it's overspiced. You can always like add more meat to dilute it a little bit, but it's best to like slightly underspice to start with, and you can add a little bit and tweak it toward the end. So I'm going to add a little salt, but what I'll do now is I'll put some of these in loaf pans, put saran wrap over it, foil, and freeze them. And then I may put a batch aside to make meatballs with. I prefer making meatballs in the oven to the pan frying, but if it's a small batch, I'll do the pan frying. But this is the best way to taste test it, is take a sample, fry it up in a pan, give it a go. This is Dean with Kino Life. No, it's not. This is Dean with a broken spoon. We'll see you next time.